bøker, og så tar vi samarbeidsprosjektet til slutt. Jeg skal lese et dikt fra den rykende ferske diktsamlingen Karbonforbindelser. Diktet har jeg kalt halveringstider. C14-atomet har en halveringstid på 5730 år. I funnene fra fortiden dreier et langsommere urverk. Lyset passerer og bringer den samme tiden til et annet sted. Mye kjærlighet brakte deg hit. Teller du 20 slektsledd bakover, har du mer enn 1 million stammødre og stamfedre. De overlevde epidemier, kriger, sult, for å gi deg livet i gave. Nedtellingen pågår kontinuerlig. Ingen kjenner dine halveringstider. Du bærer med deg historien i alt du gjør, og tiden er et timeglass med hull i bunnen.
I'm just going to read one short poem from a book that came out last year with the imaginative title Box. And every poem is called Box 1, Box 2, limited imagination. So this is called Box 16. A drop falls from the cave's ceiling and leaves for the lower jaw a milk tooth to calcify the falling. This building from its echo to better smile and later talking pearls with a mouthful of sand. A drop. This is the ocean. I mean, this is the ocean. Why not? Why not answered and asking over rooftops and coral and questions and those bodies put to work that bring the streets out in a rash as crowds of us now in aerial a smaller them, only words receding but still caught up in the rush to mean just so much.
You start.
Right, this is a collaboration that kind of came from a messy resurrection, reanimation, and oh dear, don't know. That's fine. That's fine. Of Jon's beautiful book, Body Searchers. You a sigh, she in the under of a thumbnail, a happen to another me, but happening so to print name shape, a naming still long after you and he, the I.
And another sky falls down. Here we dot to see unclear. Coagulate, we blot with the tombstone in the diving belt.
Be with and out.
You wander.
See me without, in seeing be.
Towards the ocean.
So calm holds a camera, speak in turn the ink by stairs dilation, say.
Tonight the moon is censored.
And the body.
Like the silence of a story.
It then passes from the epithelial theremin in traffic bruised motor, quips somata, the lesser curvature of soul by stigmata, anatomizing with cheap rhyme glub, capsular branches from the greater part, placing my ear against fist. The conch sonic shadows rise and fall, breach fluke sensory age-old murmur, and the Doppler diagram before reaching axon hillock from arches of gut pluck and flotsam, the ache of cancer. This vessel
propagates outwards between fibers as tidal waves against the moon's stethoscope. Gelatinous mist, the curdling lens flare throbs, who pulse, Morse codes in milky soft heart muscle. The dog, trapped behind her ribs, fuse every artery.
Porridge, bulk the distances, runes are splenetic carved into lettering bleak, corpus the spine, a desire to drink in gold as stiff with jewels as mined with vices.
Hieroglyphs on the tailbone give backward directions. In manicured inflections, cufflink orbital to the story in front of the forward. intones the impression of finding its way, graciously bestowing a gown before tread of the neuromuscular junctions across the clot of living to speak. Spittle's tongue, spittle tongue.
This is more than vertebral.
While we don't talk about death.
I love, confuse, remember, claim, to mourn, to make, to imagine, I, to chatter, lattice blade on ice or rink, or blow, to spit, to cough, to sink, to come, to glance, the eyes to close in opening, and opening grow, I am, disc by, slip by, failing breath, a wreckage of this response I plan to being here between the anatomy of melancholy and Gray's anatomy and Jan Ritland's poetry, and not mine, not my, but lived by.
Silently ticking, like a lizard you crawled your way, meat of tongue from gristle betrayed by talking meat or through childhood. Now you stand up straight, believing marrow of language with its whistle pointing midway through life's semi-somersault. That those that point to those that point to need to point dream generative between the gestures turning.
Jon's tongue. How goes tendons move as the actual creak is there, and what do? I do but break myself, and that sounds neglect, bent writing desk and drawn curtains hunch.
The wains tell the tales of the crooked blue roads
cramped through security
along which you have traveled.
Circuitry stop looking out the window and start looking for the door.
On the collarbone's coat hanger.
Remember how the grass in the air, how the leaves, how soil, how skin, how hair, scent of sound, seeing how
you undergo the slow transformation.
In exercise rectified.
Sucks out words.
Like moss and terminal. Like scalp and budgie. Like emphatic and toast and ulcerous vatic, bus shelter, nominal, curatorial, jugular, emphysema, Nutella, Oslo, watermark, sobriety, prolapse, etc., etc., etc.
Teach us that we should ever be in action. Language is drained patiently from meat, while the names slowly erode.
A sick man, saith he, sits upon a green bank, and when the dog star parcheth the plains and dries up the rivers, he lies in shady bower and feeds his eyes with a variety of objects, herbs, trees, to comfort his misery. He receives many delightsome smells and fills his ears with that sweet and various harmony of birds. Good God, saith he, what a company of pleasures hast thou made for man.
Meanwhile, the biographies are rewritten under a mantle of leaves. You prepare for the fall from the rope ladder. The hands are clenching, braided from what was left after they lost their grip. Godless dog star, wordless light, arguments of bluing fire and of landscape, grab handfuls, take optic materials, so dog star and brackage and haptic, Bracken and Burton and Henry Gray, unread, of hurting sun, focus, knuckled, slept lurching now, bruising and pulse, foibles and humour, nitrate, gag, celluloid, throat of corneal and choke of birth iris. More quietly each year, the migratory birds return with more endocrine disruptors in their flesh. The moment. Death is signs that are read before being written. By moment. A fledgling is shot into the sky ahead of the egg. In moments felt real, the light felt a bone buried of breath, felt planted by upcircled dog star, and turning and chasing and panting, the tongue ham laboured of run, felt as lungs tied, crawling so sun and so moon and so unlike you or I. With chalk on asphalt, her shoulder blades in the plagiarizing. Scapula in flightless trapezius muscle, written down, another human. I miss unthinking the scream of it, of muscles alive with their hurting to heal. Thank you.